What if I told you that happiness isn't a moment, not something we wait for, or something that finds us, but something we create, shape, practice? Not a spark of luck or a rare blessing, but a garden grown watered, tended with care, every single day because look closely and you'll see them. The women who've crossed 70 and yet still glow, not with makeup or miracle serums, but with something softer, deeper, more alive. They smile from the inside, their eyes bright, their steps light, their presence full. They carry stories and strength, not regret. And no, it's not because they had it easy or life always went their way. It's because, somewhere along the way, they chose joy on purpose. They made room for small moments, for beauty in quiet corners, for lightness in the face of change. They don't fear aging. They welcome it. They greet the mirror kindly. They see their reflection not as fading, but evolving with grace and science. That cold, clear voice of proof. It agrees. The Harvard study of adult development, spanning decades, generation after generation, found the same truth that happiness is not random, it is built. Women who age with joy don't stumble into it. They live into it with intention, with softness, with practices that hold them steady, even when life does not. These habits, they're not grand. They won't make headlines, but they change everything because how you begin your day, how you speak to yourself, how you move, how you connect. These small rituals create a big life. And no, it's not too late, not ever. You could start at 72 or 87 or this very moment. Because joy does not live in the past, it waits in the now. It waits in today's breath, in your hands, in your choices. So imagine waking up feeling grounded, not anxious, feeling curious, not closed off. Imagine feeling like life is still unfolding, that your best season might just be the one you're in. It starts with the first thought of the day, not what hurts or what's missing, but what's beautiful. Still, we're going to explore 12 habits lived by real women, loved by time, tested by life, and still standing tall. This is not a list. This is a gentle path, a map back to yourself, drawn by women who learned that joy doesn't disappear with age. It just gets quieter and wiser. Let's begin with the habit that opens the heart, before the coffee, before the news, before the mirror, gratitude. Let me tell you something that the longest happiness study ever done made crystal clear. It's not money, it's not fame, it's not even perfect health that keeps us happy as we age. It's connection, plain and simple. The threads between us, woven daily with care, with kindness. Happy women over 70 aren't always surrounded by crowds, but they are never alone in spirit. They keep their hearts open, their voices warm, their calendars just full enough. They don't wait for a party. They find joy in a phone call. They send a text, drop a note, wave to the neighbor, smile at the cashier, ask questions, and listen with real interest. They nurture what matters. Not every relationship, just the meaningful ones. The ones that see them, really see them. Because loneliness isn't just quiet, it's dangerous. It can cloud your thoughts, weaken your body, dull your spirit. But connection, even a little, heals. You don't need a dozen best friends, just one honest conversation, one shared laugh, one moment where you feel less invisible, more human. So call your sister, message that old friend, join a walking group, say yes to the community lunch, volunteer once a week, visit that neighbor who always sits alone. And if none of that feels possible, start small. Say good morning to the sky, to the mirror, to yourself. Make connection a habit, not an accident. Because every time you reach out, you also reach in. You remind yourself you're not forgotten. You are part of the world. Still, you still belong in the story, in the laughter, in the love that life still holds. Happy women don't isolate. They weave threads of light, of conversation, of shared time, and it shows in their posture, in their presence, in their peace. You are not meant to go through life unseen. You are meant to be held, heard, and hugged. So today, make one connection, no matter how small, and watch as joy begins to bloom from the quiet corners of your soul. They say movement is medicine, and for the women who have lived through 7 decades or more, this is not just a saying, it's truth, because the happiest women don't chase youth, but they chase light and air, and that warm pulse that rises when the body remembers it's still alive. You won't find them in sweaty gyms or pounding pavement for medals. No, you'll find them in the rhythm of their morning walks, in the quiet grace of garden stretches, in the gentle flow of Tai Chi beneath trees. They move not to shrink, but to feel, not to punish, but to praise, not to burn, but to breathe. A 10-minute stretch, a 20-minute walk, even swaying in the kitchen while waiting for the kettle to boil. It all counts, because movement is not about performance, it's about participation. It's how you say, I'm still here. I still belong in this body. I still love this life. And it works. Science backs it. Just a little movement. Each day lowers stress, lifts mood, improves sleep, boosts heart health, supports balance, prevents the slow fade that fear often tries to whisper. And it's not about being flexible or fast. It's about showing up for yourself with compassion and curiosity. The happiest women make movement sacred. They dress for it. They look forward to it. They don't treat it like a chore, but a chance to feel themselves again, dancing to old records, doing chair yoga by candlelight, water walking in the community pool, even standing stretches while brushing teeth. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It only has to feel like joy. Because joy is movement in its truest form, the laughter that bubbles when you lift your arms to the sky, the strength you didn't know still lived in your thighs, the pride that pulses after just 10 steps more than yesterday. So start small. Move gently, let your body lead, let it guide you with tenderness, with patience, with pride. Because movement isn't just for the young, it is for the wise, the radiant, the women who know that every stretch is a rebellion against stillness that steals, and a celebration of the power that still remains. Move, not because you must, but because you can, and that is where the magic begins. You are not what you eat, but what you nourish, and the happiest women, over 70, have learned this. Not from magazines or diets, but from living. They no longer eat to fit a dress, they eat to fit their life. They know that food is not a punishment or a reward. It is care, it is comfort, it is connection. A ripe avocado, split at the window, a bowl of warm soup. After a walk in the cold, fresh berries in the morning sprinkled with joy. It's not about restriction or counting anything. It's about listening to what the body still longs for. Foods with color, not just beige and bland. Tomatoes red, like sunset. Greens full of light. Fish that swims in oils that coat every cell with longevity. They eat slowly, savoring each bite, tasting life in every forkful. And the science quietly agrees. Healthy fats, lower inflammation. Dark leafy greens feed the brain, whole grains sustain, and herbs heal. The Mediterranean women, the Okinawan grandmothers, the Vietnamese market cooks, they've all known what doctors now prove: the food that grows close to the earth grows life within us and treats. Yes, a sliver of chocolate, a delicate cookie with tea, not as guilt, but as joy, a memory of sweetness, shared with a friend or savored alone. In a moment of pause, the happiest women aren't afraid of food. They don't battle it. They bless it. They don't chase thinness. They chase vitality, energy, warm skin, strong bones, a twinkle in the eye that says, I've eaten well today. They eat to live and to live well. They prepare meals with intention, sometimes alone, sometimes in company, sometimes in silence, sometimes to music, but always with love. And they know hydration is the other half of nourishment. They sip water with lemon, with mint, with grace, because caring for your body means listening, feeding, watering, like the garden you've always been. So make your plate colorful, make your table beautiful. Eat by the window with light on your face. Let your meals be rituals, not routines. Feed the body, but also feed the soul. That's what the happiest women do. They choose food that remembers how precious this body still is, and that choice every day is an act of reverence. She doesn't run to prove anything, she walks to remember herself. Happy women over 70 have a different rhythm. They move not to burn, but to bloom. They don't chase goals on a fitness tracker. They chase moments of presence. They stretch in the morning, not to get thin, but to wake the spine, to say, I am still here. They walk, not for miles, but for meaning, down the path to the mailbox, through the quiet garden, up and down the hallway with music playing softly. From another room, every step is a celebration of what still works, of what still flows, of what still carries them. They don't punish their bodies for aging, they praise them for surviving. A gentle yoga, a sway to a song, arms raised like branches, reaching for air, not a performance, but a prayer. And the science speaks softly too. Movement increases blood flow to the brain, to the heart, to the skin. It lifts the mood, releases the weight of invisible sadness that sometimes sinks in after decades. It strengthens the bones, the balance, the courage to keep standing when life wants to push you over. And still, it doesn't have to be grand. No gym, no treadmill, no loud instructor shouting joy, just her, and a stretch, a soft breath, a room filled with morning light. She tends to her joints like she tends to flowers, gently, patiently, with oil and care. Some women dance even if no one's watching, especially if no one's watching. Some lift light weights like lifting small burdens off their shoulders. One rep, one release at a time. They move because they can, because it reminds them that they are still alive. Movement is not punishment. It is proof that the body still remembers, still wants to rise, to bend, to breathe. So each day, the happiest women move in their own way, with their own rhythm. They don't chase intensity, they invite it gently. They listen to their knees, to their hips, to their heart, and they say, thank you. With every motion, every reach, every quiet victory, movement is not what they have to do, it's what they get to do. And that is everything. Happy women over 70 don't believe the lie that aging means fading. Their minds are not museums. They are gardens, still growing, still blooming. With every thought, every question, every spark of wonder, they read, not just to pass time, but to travel to other lifetimes, to remember that the soul is still young. They read novels and poetry. They highlight lines that move them and pause over words that feel like truth. They solve puzzles not to prove anything, but because it feels good to try to stretch, to figure it out. Some pick up crossword books, Sudoku, jigsaw pieces, not to kill time, but to bring time back to life. They take classes online. They try something entirely new, like painting or playing piano, not to master it, but to feel the joy of being a beginner again. The happiest women learn to speak to themselves kindly, but also curiously. They journal, not to be profound, but to make space for the tangled thoughts that need air. They ask questions, they listen to podcasts, they stay engaged, awake, alive. The mind is not a clock, it is a candle, and it doesn't have to dim. It can glow soft but steady. Science agrees. Lifelong learning stimulates memory, protects against decline, and deepens life's meaning. It keeps us feeling purposeful, capable, whole. Happy women know they are not too old to grow, not too late to learn. They challenge their brains with word games or history books. They take notes on things that excite them. They memorize a verse, a recipe, a song from childhood. Even when they forget, they don't panic. They smile because forgetfulness doesn't mean failure. It means they've lived a lot of life. And the point is not perfection. The point is participation. They keep thinking, keep laughing, keep wondering. They don't fear. A slower thought, they just give it. A bit more patience because wisdom isn't always fast, but it is always worthy. So each day they feed the mind, not with fear, but with curiosity, not with dread, but with delight. And in that they stay young, not in years, but in spirit. Happy women over 70 don't eat to chase a number. They eat to chase energy, vitality, joy. They're not counting calories, they're counting colors on their plates, greens and reds, yellows and purples. The rainbow that feeds the cells and lifts the soul. They no longer diet, they nourish. They no longer punish, they care. Gone are the years of fearing bread, of skipping meals, of shrinking their appetites to fit expectations. Now they eat slowly, they savor, they let the body speak, and they actually listen. Because at this age, eating isn't just survival, it's sacred, it's social, it's sensual. They've learned that real health is not about thinness, it's about strength and softness, in harmony. They choose whole foods, fresh fruits, warm soups, olive oil, nuts, and seeds. Not because it's trendy, but because it feels right. Their hands have chopped 1,000 onions. Their tables have held decades of memories. They make tea, not just to hydrate, but to soothe. Chamomile at night, green tea in the morning, not routines, but rituals. They listen to their cravings with curiosity, not guilt. Why do I want this? What is my body asking for? Sometimes it's a crisp apple. Sometimes it's a piece of dark chocolate. They give themselves both without shame, and when they eat, they don't scroll. They don't rush. They sit with their plate and their presence. They light a candle. They bless the meal. They say, "Thank you to the hands that grew it, to the hands that prepared it." Even alone, they create beauty. A napkin, a favorite bowl, a moment of stillness before the first bite. Because food isn't just fuel, it's memory, it's medicine, it's love. They know that too much sugar fogs the brain, too much salt drains the energy. So they choose balance, not perfection, and they've stopped apologizing for having an appetite. Their hunger is not just physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and they feed it fully. Their kitchens are not about control, they are about care. And when they cook, they infuse each dish with tenderness for themselves and for anyone who's ever sat at their table. Happy women know this truth. You don't age well by denying your body, you age well by honoring it. So each day, they eat to feel alive, to feel full, to feel like themselves again. Happy women over 70 don't live by clocks, they live by rhythm. They no longer rush to chase the hours, they rise when their body says rise and rest, when their spirit says enough. They've learned that the world moves fast, but they don't have to. Their days are not packed with noise and hustle. They are woven, like soft fabric with breath, with space, with grace. They move through time like dancers, not like runners. They have nothing left to prove and everything still to savor. There is a rhythm to their mornings, not just coffee, but quiet, not just routines, but rituals. They wake to the light, not the alarm. They stretch without counting. They pause, not because they're tired, but because they are wise. They water plants before checking phones. They feed birds before feeding fears. Their mornings are not conquered, they are welcomed. There is a rhythm to their conversations too. They don't rush to reply. They listen, they take in. They give words that feel chosen, not thrown. Their friendships aren't maintained out of duty. They are nurtured like gardens, tended with presence and delight. And there's a rhythm to their afternoons, sometimes slow, sometimes quiet, but never empty. a book, a walk, a handwritten note, a nap in a sunlit room. They no longer feel guilty for doing nothing because they know that rest is not nothing. It is everything. In their kitchens, they stir not just soup, but stories, memories, a dash of this, a handful of that, measured by instinct, not spoons. They don't eat at their desks. They sit down, even if alone they make time, even if the world doesn't. And at night, they close the day like a sacred book, one they've read slowly and fully, maybe with a cup of herbal tea, maybe with a prayer or a poem, or simply a sigh. They don't cram. Late hours with tasks, they welcome the dark like an old friend, because their days aren't measured by how much they've done, but by how deeply they've lived. They no longer chase time, they keep rhythm, and the rhythm keeps them. So if you've been rushing, if you've forgotten what it means to move slowly, to breathe fully, to live gently, take this as your sign. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Start today with rhythm, not with rush. Start today. Like the women who've learned that peace is not found in the fast lane, but in the quiet curve of a well-paced day. Happy women over 70 aren't just kind to others. They've learned the rarest kindness is the one they give themselves. They no longer speak to their reflection with judgment or shame. They no longer say too many wrinkles, too soft here, too late for that, because they've grown wise enough to know that beauty never came from smoothness or symmetry. It came from light, from laughter, from love. So they talk to themselves like they would to a dear friend. Tender, forgiving, true. When their body aches, they don't scold it, they thank it. This body that has carried decades, dreams, children, grief, joy. When their heart feels heavy, they don't hide it. They hold it gently like a bird in their hands. They've stopped apologizing for being emotional, for being tired, for needing rest or space or silence. They've stopped comparing themselves to younger women, to strangers, to ghosts of who they used to be, because they understand that aging is not a loss. It is a becoming. It is not fading. It is distilling into essence, into soul. And so they extend grace to themselves. They skip a chore without guilt. They cancel a plan without shame. They look in the mirror, and instead of searching for flaws, they look for softness, for light in their eyes, for the woman still here, still shining. Kindness to the self is not indulgence, it is survival, it is medicine, a soft robe, a slow morning, a favorite song, a warm bath, a nap without apology, a meal made only for you. These are not luxuries, they are lifelines, because when you are kind to yourself, you begin to glow from the inside out, and others notice. They feel safer, calmer around you. Kindness spreads. It's a circle that always begins within. So ask yourself today, have I been gentle with the woman I've become? Have I celebrated her, thanked her, held her hand through the hard days? Because that woman deserves tenderness, not just from others, but from you, especially from you. Happy women don't wait for someone else to affirm them. They look in the mirror and say, I am enough. I am still here. I am still becoming. And today I will treat myself like I matter because I do, and you do too. If there's one truth that every happy woman over 70 has come to understand, it's this: life is not measured by achievements, by trophies or timelines. It's measured by how deeply you've loved, how gently you've touched the lives around you, and how open you've kept your heart, even after it's been broken. Because love isn't just romance, it's presence, it's patience, it's showing up for your children, even when they're grown, for your friends, even when they're far, for yourself, even when you feel lost. Love is what softens the sharp edges of aging. It's what turns loneliness into solitude and silence into peace. Happy women don't just give love, they let themselves receive it. They say yes when help is offered. They let others hold them, listen to them, support them. And in doing so, they teach everyone around them that strength doesn't mean carrying everything alone. They love fiercely but quietly, not for attention, not for praise, but because they know it's what we're here for, to connect, to care, to heal, to witness. And they love beyond words, through warm soup. On a rainy day, through handwritten notes, tucked into books, through listening without rushing to fix, they carry the stories of others in their hearts and never tell them what to be, only remind them who they are. Love, for them, is not a feeling. It's a way of moving through the world with grace, with presence, with gentleness, even toward strangers, even toward those who cannot give it back. They've learned that the happiest life is not the loudest or the most glamorous. It's the one where love is sown every single day in small, steady ways, through smiles, through prayers, through forgiveness, through patience. Because in the end, what we remember is not what we wore or owned or posted. It's who we loved and how we made them feel. So if you want to live joyfully, even now, even later, even through it all, begin and end with love. Love in your voice, in your touch, in your thoughts. Let it fill your kitchen, your morning walks, your letters, your laughter. Let it guide every choice you make, because the happiest women over 70 don't chase love, they become it. Now you know 12 habits, 12 soft, powerful truths, not rules, not checklists, but whispers. From wise women who've walked before you, they didn't become joyful by accident. They chose it again and again. Each morning, each breath, they chose gratitude over regret, presence over worry, connection over isolation. They didn't wait for happiness to arrive. They created it in small, intentional daily ways. In the tea, they sipped slowly. In the letters, they wrote with care. In the forgiveness they gave themselves when no one else could. They let their laughter out loud, their tears flow freely, their joy root deep. And now so can you. You don't need to change everything. Just one moment, one habit, one step at a time. Maybe today it's choosing a walk instead of the couch, or writing a thank you note before breakfast. Maybe it's calling a friend, sitting in silence saying no to what no longer fits. This is your life, your season, not an end, but a deepening, the blooming of who you are when nothing needs to be proven anymore. And if you ever forget, return to this, to the habits that anchor you, the rituals that restore you, the grace that lives in your bones. Because happiness is not a finish line, it's the quiet joy of knowing you're still here, still growing, still laughing, still loving, even now, especially now. And if this journey spoke to your heart, if these words felt like coming home, then share this with another woman who might need to remember her own light. Give this video a like if it moved you. Subscribe for more, because our stories are not done, not at 70, not ever together. Let's build a space for women to age with beauty, with strength, with softness, and with joy that begins every single day. Thank you for walking this path. With me, your glow is the gift, let it shine forever on.